Guys, welcome back to Rip City Rundown, and I'm going to be previewing the 7-10 matchup between Texas A&M and Penn State. I think this is going to be another one of those really good first-round matchups between two teams that I like this March for two different reasons. Penn State's got the star. They've got the All-Big Ten guard in Jalen Pickett. And then Texas A&M has the formula. I'll get into that in a second. This game is being played on Thursday. This is in Des Moines, Iowa. So I guess if I had to give the home court to somebody, honestly, I think they're pretty similar. Maybe Penn State. I'm not sure how these two schools travel when it comes to fans. But let's jump into Texas A&M first. They give up only 66 points per game. They're a good defense. And I think they were really underrated in their seeding. I think they could have arguably been a 5 seed. At worst, a 6 seed. They probably should have been a 6 seed. They were 25-9, 15-3 in conference, and made it to the SEC championship game where they lost to Alabama. But they've also beaten Alabama this year. They beat Tennessee. They beat Arkansas twice. They beat Auburn twice. They beat Missouri twice, and then they lost to Kentucky by 9. But those are all wins over NCAA tournament teams. And this Texas A&M team, when I say they have the formula, I mean they do things that I think are sustainable in March Madness. And those two things are get offensive rebounds, gain extra possessions, and then make free throws and get to the line a lot. That is very sustainable in March Madness. I look at a team like UNC last year. They got hot, and that was because they could hit the three and they were making tough shots. That is one formula to March Madness. I think that's one thing, but that's really unpredictable. I think something that's really predictable is the fact that if you get extra possessions, you slow down the game, and then you're already a defensive team. That's a pretty hard thing for a team to get over. Now, I think the one thing that can beat a team like that is an opposing star taking over a game, and that's why I point to Jalen Pickett being a possible star to take over this game. Penn State locked up their tournament bid. They had a great deep run into the Big Ten tournament, but they rely a lot on the three-point shot and the shooting. So it's a contrast in styles where Texas A&M doesn't rely on their shot, Penn State does. So I think it's just going to be one of these games where if Penn State can hit tough shots, they're going to win this game. But that's a really hard thing to predict, and that's also more likely not going to happen than going to happen. Penn State this year, in their wins, it's because they've hit tough shots. They did it against Indiana, they did it against Illinois, but then they lost to Rutgers twice, and they lost to Purdue all 3 times. So I think Penn State's a really hard team to predict. They have the ability. I think both of these teams have the ability to get to the Sweet 16. However, if I was going to make a pick, I got to roll with Texas A&M. They're ranked 15th in the BPI. They are a really good team. They're really undervalued at this 7 seed. I would arguably, if I'm looking at these 6 seeds, I'm arguably putting them over Creighton. I'm putting them over Iowa State. TCU, we can talk, and Kentucky, we can talk. And then I look at the 5 seeds, and I think you could put them over St. Mary's and San Diego State. I think this Texas A&M team is pretty underrated. I think they could make a run. They could get a Texas. They probably will, if they win, get a Texas team in the second round. And that'll be a big-time rivalry game that we don't see often these days. But I'm going to roll with Texas A&M in this game. I trust their defense. If Penn State jumps out to a big lead, I don't think Texas A&M could come back. But I think Texas A&M could just make this game just terrible for Jalen Pickett and the rest of those guards for Penn State. Penn State's going to have to get out to an early lead, I think, to win this one. I don't think they do. Give me Texas A&M to move on in this one.